Staff at East Texas Medical Center in Gilmer hope to ease the traumatic experience of a sexual assault with its Sexual Assault Nurse Examiner program. In the past, patients would have to travel to Longview or farther to be treated, get evidence collected, and be offered resources for counseling.
As the ER director, part of my job is statistical analysis of the patient modalities that we have here. You know, how many are trauma, how many are flu-like symptoms, how many are strokes, heart attacks, things like that. And the number of physically violent acts were showing up over a period of 2 years. It started escalating as far as assaults were concerned. And it bothered me to the point that I just did not feel comfortable not being able to provide a service that I saw was becoming a desperate need in this community.
Our program, our sexual assault program, is extremely important in this rural community. We have seen countless patients have to be transferred to larger facilities for injuries sustained during sexual assaults. And it's very tragic to put a female or a child or a male on the road after they've suffered an attack like that.
The nurses help with the healing process after they leave the hospital.
A lot of people are afraid of, you have what's going to happen to me after this. You know, the majority of sexual assaults are not strangers. It's actually people you know, whether it be friends, whether it be family. It's somebody that is in your environment. So how is that going to affect, people are scared of, how's that going to affect my life? How's that going to affect my family's life when this comes out?
Once the patient is medically cleared and the actual sexual assault exam begins, it's the critical hour. Like with a stroke, you've got that critical hour, or trauma, you have that critical hour. It's the same for evidence collection. The longer that you wait to collect the evidence, it increases its risk of no longer being viable. The SANE nurses are the only staff members who are going to hear the whole story from beginning to end. And some patients, it takes time. You first have to, gain that trust and try to get them to talk about the event, which is extremely traumatic. They're reliving something they just want to forget. And these 4 nurses were specially trained in communicating and communication to get that information from the victim.
Evidence is provided for the prosecution used to put the assailant in jail. All evidence is logged in a book and locked away. Only 5 nurses have access to the locked information.
They'll put it in this lockbox system, which is a double lock system, right here and here. Then this will be closed. This is now a triple lock system, and then this will be added, which is now a quad lock system. So no defense attorney, because this particular room is used throughout the day for other patients other than sexual assault patients. And so a defense attorney could probably try to argue, well, that evidence was tainted. Anybody could have come in and gotten it. And that's not the case. We have 4 locks to prevent that. Statistically speaking, women who have been sexually assaulted are 80% more likely to suffer a stroke. They're 75% more likely to have cardiovascular disease. They're 85% more likely to have drug and alcohol abuse problems. So you see, by not addressing it and not identifying it and not being treated for it is going to open up a whole host of other issues.
Nurses are nurturing by nature, but for some, dealing with sexual assault victims hits pretty close to home.
I have family that have been affected by sexual assault. I've had friends that have been affected by sexual assault. And it's also a big need around here. Especially in the local area, there's nobody to help with this type of thing. So when we would have patients before, they would come here seeking help, and then, oh, you've got to drive another hour to go get what you really need done. They had something stolen from them. And so this is the first step in getting back what they had stolen. And that was their say-so, their rights, and their independence. So this is the start of giving them back what they lost.